I wrote a book. It's one of my biggest achievements in life. It wasn't something that I thought that I could do. But I'm so proud of, the sacrifices and the hard work that I put into it. I am very grateful for the response that it has gotten. Like, it's a money book. Like, nobody expected it to have this much, fanfare and this much impact. So I'm super grateful for it. I struggled a lot with coming up with the concept for the book. I wanted something that people would definitely have conversations about, because people just kept saying to me, just write a book, just write something, put all your articles together and turn this into a book. But I knew that I didn't want to do that, that if I was going to write a book, I wanted to do something that would actually have a real impact. I wanted something that people would have conversations about. I wanted it to be of lean-in proportions. Now I can say that out loud, but then when I was saying it to my friends, I was saying I want it to be a movement. I want it to, be like lean-in, and I felt like, who do you think you are? Like, how is it going to be like lean-in or whatever? But it has, and I kept thinking, okay, what kind of book am I going to write? So I basically put together something that I felt like I would want to read. Something that stayed true to all the articles I wrote on my blog, all the articles I wrote on Bella Niger, Guardian, that told stories that were very pertinent to the African millennial, things that were relatable in a language that they would understand. So I was a big fan of Sex and the City when I was in university, and I loved the way the series made you feel like you were a New Yorker, how it would talk about real places in New York and real brands and all of that stuff. So I really wanted a book that would do that, but still have like smart money lessons and business lessons at the end of each chapter. So the book is basically a fictional story. It's about a character called Zuri. She is the typical Lagos girl who looks like she has everything, but she doesn't really have anything at all in terms of assets. So she's broke. So the book chronicles her journey from being broke to getting back on the path to financial freedom. It also tackles a lot of personal finance issues that I feel like are very specific to the African millennial. It tells the personal finance journeys of her friends as well. So she has 4 best friends: Lara, who is an oil and gas executive; Tammy, who is a flighty fashion designer; Adeswa, who is a conservative lawyer; and Ladu, who is a fabulous housewife. So they all have different personal finance issues that they tackle. One of my favorite things has been when I go to speaking engagements or one of these events for the book tour, people saying to me, Arese, I feel like you are writing about my life. I feel like I'm Zuri, or I feel like I'm Lara. And, because it tackles a lot of issues. Debt, the consumerist culture of the African middle class, spending habits, investing, loads of things. I wanted to also talk about the social pressures that we have just as young people in Africa. The things that I find that you can't really find on the internet. Like, so when you Google personal finance, it will not be telling you about American problems. Like, so our problems are they're very different. I wanted something that would tackle personal finance in a very African context. When I was growing up, did I see all of this? Did I see myself being in this particular career or on this route? No. I saw myself in some kind of, high-powered career, maybe as a lawyer or working in finance, definitely. But I didn't know, what that would mean. I hadn't really thought it through, that far ahead. But this sort of fell in my lap, and I feel like it's my purpose. But funny story, my mother, when she was reading, proofreading, the earlier versions of the book, she found one chapter particularly funny, and she calls me and she goes, you know what I was thinking? And I know this sounds mean to say, but out of all my children, I never thought that you would be the writer, that you would be an author. I'm reading this and thinking, is this my child that wrote this? And that was really, it was so funny to me, because writing, I read books all my life, but writing a book was never like a goal. It was never something that I said, oh, I'm going to do this one day. I thought it would be my sister Isoke or VA, that would come up with that. But it's been a really, really exciting and fulfilling journey. Just seeing the way people respond to something that comes so easily to you inspires you to want to keep doing it. Just interacting, with the people who, this book tour has been so powerful for me. Like, I think that I'm not even going to realize the impact until it's over. So we've gone to places like Uyo, Warri. I spoke broken English to 100 market women. Talk about, talking personal finance to 100 market women that you can only converse with in broken English. And I was thinking, that was actually one of my scariest moments. But it was so much fun. We've done Lagos, obviously. We've done Ibadan. We're doing Abuja and Accra. And hopefully like a lot of other African countries to come. In 3 to 5 years, I see myself having hopefully more books. So I hope that the Smart Money Woman will become a series, tackling Zuri's personal finance issues when she's at different levels of her life. I'm hoping, to have more reach, hopefully a world tour. I'm hoping that I would become a known brand when it comes to pushing that African financial literacy message, because I think that financial literacy is extremely important for Africa if we're going to come out of poverty. From everything from the way we think about money to the way we save, the way we invest, to even the way we deal with debt. I really believe that if financial literacy was paired with loans, banks would have a lower default rate. Hi, my name is Arese Ugwu. I'm the founder of smartmoneyafrica.org, which is basically a personal finance platform for the African millennial. I'm also the author of The Smart Money Woman, an African girl's journey to financial freedom.